Yeah, yeah. What they saying? I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, I'm so divine. Imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine.
Welcome to the H.G.R.G podcast. We're back with another one. Just Jerry, DT. What's going on today? How we doing, fellas?
Salute, gentlemen.
What's good? Salute.
We got one today. We got one today. Pay attention.
Ask this question, guys. DT, you still with us?
Yeah. We got my guy Carlos.
Listen here. Listen, not only is DT with us, we got Charlos from the CHECO team. I'm telling you right now, it's going to be a special one here. He is on the West Coast, guys. We expand from the East Coast all the way to the West Coast, and we definitely going to get into it. Carlos, thank you.
I should have worn my LA Dodgers hat today.
we not dodging.
No disrespect. I should have worn the LA Dodgers hat.
We not dodging any market. Any market we want, we tapping in. We tapping in every
my
market.
hats is pretty much New York hats. I got a couple like San Diego hats. I just love hats in general, but it's always going to be New York teams for me.
You heard?
Carlos, thank you for joining us today, man. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come join us on this podcast. We appreciate you. Obviously, the audience will appreciate you as well. Listen, what we do is we give both sides of everything, the good, the bad, the ugly. We try to give them every scenario we can. We try to bring people like you on the podcast to give different point of views. We've had a realtor before. That realtor was from a different coast. Now we have one on the West Coast. And we just want to see what your market what your life is like. And we want to get into who you are and what you could do for people as well. So, Carlos, thank you very much for coming on, man.
Oh, no problem at all, man. I appreciate y'all having me. Been looking forward to this, so I'm glad we're doing it.
So I want to ask you a question right off the bat.
I'm excited for this, though. Man, stop right now. I'm excited for this. Because a lot of our listeners, obviously...
stop, bro.
No, I can't. I'm sorry, I can't. A lot of our listeners, they hear us, our markets, and they might be tired, oversaturated, like what you got going on. So it's dope to have a different perspective from a different market.
Absolutely.
And the gentleman right here, Carlos, he's gonna give what he got going on, the market, what it looks like, all that good stuff. But it's amazing to have like-minded people on the podcast to be able to share their stories, give where they came from, what the story looks like, though he came from New York and went that way. And he doing a lot good for himself. And it's fire to hear that. It's fire to hear. So I salute you and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
So with that being said, Carlos, how does somebody like you get into real estate? How does that happen?
Man, so I was actually working as a manager at a cell phone store. And there was a lot of shady stuff going on at my store. You know what I'm saying? And I value integrity pretty heavy. And I just was thinking about what could I get into that I would have the most control of the transaction to help out people. And real estate came to mind. And pretty much from there, that's when the seed was plugged in. I met someone who put me on how to take the test. And then once I took the test, or actually studied for the test, excuse me, then I took the test, passed it, and I just got into it.
How long you been in real estate?
So I actually got licensed in 2018. And of course, the goal was to work full time and sell a house here or there, and eventually break off. But with me working full time, I was working full time. I had a part time and I'm working overtime. So I really had no time, to do real estate. Yeah. But the cool thing about it was that I'm licensed for 4 years. So unfortunately and fortunately, when the pandemic happened in 2020, everybody got let go. And all I had in my hands was just my real estate license. Wow. So I said, let's go ahead and just jump into it head first. I was listening to Nipsey heavy around that time as well. So he, pushed me.
That's that Cali love over there. That's that Cali love.
It's funny you say that. I want to highlight what you said. the pandemic came that no one saw coming, right?
I already know where you're going with this, Lance. Go ahead, give it to him.
And you were left with your back against the wall because you had nothing but a piece of paper that was your real estate license, right? So we had interviewed somebody, a young lady on this podcast as well, and I asked, what was the pivot point for you? And she said, well, I got let go of my job from my job. And that's when my back was against the wall. I had a couple thousand in the bank account, you know, and I knew I had to move a shuffle.
Yeah.
You know, so I feel like it was the same thing for you where, you know, bad times and less opportunity created more opportunity for you, right? Because you were like, I got to get shaken. So, so take us through it. So this happens, you lose your job. Obviously, it's a lonely, sucky feeling. You got this piece of paper that says you're a realtor, you know, in your hands. Now what happens?
So originally I was with Keller Williams as a brokerage, and I wasn't really, and no jab at them. I'm just gotta keep it 100 with you. While I was there, I didn't really feel like I was able to get what I needed. So I had looked at some other brokerages. I actually got an email from somebody in town. His name was John.
Hold on. Let me ask you a question. Why did you not feel that way? Was it because of the split?
Well, I think it's important to note that, you know, being a real estate agent, you're an independent contractor, and not a lot of people know what that means. Myself included at the time. I felt like, all right, I'm a real estate.
Explain that, and also explain the split, because that's important, and not a lot of people know that. That's fire.
Yes. So as an independent contractor,
hold on. First of all, you're not going to stop. You're going to stop showing up the view. Stop showing the view out. We're not going to show the view all day. I was trying to get in the light. Nah, this joke. Yeah, my fault. I'm sorry.
The palm trees.
Oh, no, you're good.
Salute.
So as an independent contractor, you know, you're responsible for everything from getting your own clients, closing them. So you're every department is you. And I had no idea that's what it was. I felt like once you got your real estate license, you find like an employer, which is your brokerage, and they will pretty much feed you. And it's like working at a cell phone store, but it's just with bigger ticket items. But while I was at Keller Williams, they really focused on like mindset, which is great. But I feel like once you know what you're doing, or once you know why you're doing it, it's important to learn how to do it. And so I would go to this office, and they would be doing like these mantras, and it's not really
super important. I promise y'all.
I hope that's the reason why
they are realtors and they're aspiring to be realtors. They pay attention, because everybody thinks I could become a realtor tomorrow and I'm lit. Pay attention to what this man is saying. He's not lying. He's telling, this is his experience. This is real talk. So I'm sorry. You cut you off.
Oh, no, you're good, bro. So while I was there, they give you like a coach, which I felt like that's big time. I got a coach. She going to help me out. But this one person had, I don't know how many heads she had. And you know about the 80-20 rule, like 80% of your people or your business is going to take care. I'm saying that split. So with the 80-20, I was part of the 20% that she wasn't really taking care of. But no jab at them again. You know what I'm saying? I just had to find something that was better for me. And what Keller Williams did with their split, they said, we're going to start you off at 60-40. And then once you hit what's called a cap, so once you hit a certain amount of sales, then we'll give you 100%.
But what is that? What is that? 60-40. What is that? Explain that for the people who don't know.
Sure. So when you sell a home, and let's just say you sell a house and it's a 6% commission that gets split between the buyer's agent and the seller's agent. So if I have the buyer, I'm the buyer's agent, I would get 3%. But from that 3%, I would have to give 40% to my brokerage, and I would keep 60.
And how long typically do you have to work for one deal? How many weeks? How long does that last?
So that really varies on perception. So I'm a huge believer, right, that like you can get whatever you want done today if you really have the heart for it. So if you want to go door knock, you can do that. You want to cold call. The thing is, like, rejection is super, super heavy, right? So you're going to call 100 people and you might hear like 100 no's, but that shouldn't deter you. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So in 2020, when that started, And once I made my mind up to go, it's funny how things work. Once I made my mind up that I want to be a real estate agent, I'm gonna do this full time. Within 3 weeks, I got my first deal. And that's just because I was open for it. I was looking for it. I was trying to attract it, and that's what came to
the
me.
hustle.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
You spoke it into existence.
Right. So I was able, grace of God, bro, I was able to get into a brokerage that gave me a beautiful split, where now I'm keeping the majority of my money, and they're also helping me out. So I had an interview with my guy. His name is Josh, and that was like 15, 20 minutes of meeting him. He was able to go ahead and answer the majority of the questions that I had that this other brokerage couldn't answer for me. So I felt like right there, that was a sign to go ahead and make a move. But an interesting fact, as far as like those that are trying to be a real estate agent, here is a statistic that's kind of mind blowing. So out of all of the agents that got licensed last year, 85% of them today, they stopped. You know what I'm saying? So
85%.
85%, bro. So
that's a good point.
It's crazy because it's not for the weak. You really have to be like thick skinned. You have to have that type of heart and that mentality to get it. So right now, there's twice as many agents as homes that are available. So that tells you right there, like if you're really trying to get to it,
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
So you got in before COVID, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right before COVID, you got in. Is there a difference, or do you hear talk within your office or within your peers that differentiate pre-COVID realtors, post-COVID realtors?
Man,
we know the answer.
I know the answer, but I want to
answer.
People who are not, they're not seasoned enough. Lance, paint that picture for me, Lance, please.
Yeah, so I mean, we had this discussion before, right?
Hello.
Yeah.
Just a little bit, and we were arguing, saying that realtors that came in with COVID I don't want to say aren't really realtors, but they had it a lot easier, right? Because everything handed to them, basically. So the grind wasn't really there. They weren't instilled with the grind. And now that COVID era is gone, and now it's time to really grind, and you every weekend you're out there, and now you got to learn how to really negotiate. And it's not, you don't have contracts where you can put, basically, there's nothing you have to put on that contract, really. You know what I'm saying? We're not even looking at the property, and you're putting in offers. Is that is not there anymore. So my thing is, do a lot of those people that the realtors that were there doing that, do a lot of them fall off now post COVID because now you got to really put in work?
Yeah. So like during that pandemic period, right, when the interest rates were so low, I kept hearing like, yo, I've never seen a market like this before from like seasoned agents. So I feel like a lot of those new agents, they got lucky because everyone was just looking to either buy or sell, and the prices of homes were going up super, super quick. So once that changed, and to keep it real with you, I think it was like 3.5%. Once it went up to like 4 and some change, that's when a lot of realtors started panicking. Oh, nobody wants to buy. It's too high. It's too this. It's too that.
Did you experience any like when you first got acclimated, like issues with leads? Did you have like, how do I find people who want to buy houses? How do I find people who I can list houses for? Did you have any of those issues?
Yeah, man. A lot of it is just not understanding what I was getting into. So of course I felt like once I got licensed, it was just, that's it. We on, and I'm going to start making a bunch of money immediately. And they tell you, go to your sphere of influence. So you reach out to everybody in your phone, like, yo, I'm in real estate now. But even at that point, you're not realizing what you look like when you're sending these messages to everybody. You look kind of desperate, and then you get your license. Every lead company wants to hit you up. Yo, for $500 a month, I'll give you. I'm like, $500 a month? I just got here. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask you a question though? Because I'm gonna pigtail off of it, but I want to let you answer first. Do you regret doing that?
Oh, say it again.
Do you regret doing that? Going through your phone and hitting everybody up in their phone saying,
nah?
Because I saw on your Instagram that you put a video up telling people that this is what they should do.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? So right now, I'm gonna say that I admire you for doing that, because I feel like when you did that, you felt like this is what I should do.
Yes.
Not necessarily knowing that it's gonna capitalize or it's gonna lead to something.
Right.
I don't know how you figured it out. And I want to ask this part of my question. How did you know that that was the right thing to do? And I think you went on faith, but it capitalized for you. Explain that. Good.
So I'm a big fan of like franchises, right? So I feel like Little Caesars, Subways, McDonald's, I love those because it's a proven concept and you pretty much just tell me what to do. This is how you got here. If I do this, I can get at least in that arena. So, you know, you listen to wise counsel. My man was like, yo, just talk to everybody you can. Tell them you're in real estate. As silly as I felt, I was doing it. But even though I didn't get deals off of that immediately, I learned to like not take myself as serious and to start gaining some thick skin. And also you start weeding out people. Like you can't even hit me. I just said I'm a real estate. You can't say congrats. You know, some people feel like I'm trying to get that sale, but it's like I realized that you're like, oh, now you're a salesperson, stay away from me. So I was able to learn a lot of different lessons and just hitting different people.
What happened with that is they know you as Carlos. They don't know you as Carlos the realtor. So they have to learn that. It's for the people that you have to circle, they have to learn that. They have to trust you when you get that. So at first you get punched in the face a couple times, like, oh man, you supposed to go through me. But they don't know you, Carlos the realtor. They know you as Carlos. This is just the regular Carlos. So once you get in the game, you get in the game, man.
And two things. I like the if it's not broke, don't fix it concept, right? You say, how do the franchises do it? What's their blueprint? I'm not going to try to reinvent the wheel. I just want to get in the realm of where you guys are, the ballpark where you're at, right? So, and you know, and two, it's funny because that's been our experience, and we're not even talking about sales. We're trying to give it for free.
Right. Tell them, Lance. Tell them, Lance.
We're trying to give it. I'm not selling nothing. I'm trying to give. Look what I got.
Right.
I could get that for you, homie. You know, and Eric. And we're not making a percentage. We're not doing nothing. We're trying to give it for free. You know, and now that we have a mentorship, we put a price tag on it. It blows we still talking. It blows our mind. All the calls that we get.
Yeah.
All the scheduled consultations we get now. You know, now that we put a price tag on it. When we were in group chats, like, my man, you've known me for 20 years.
Yeah.
Come do this.
Right.
You got a 401k. I got no money. You got a 401k. Come do this.
Right.
Oh?
Right.
Oh no, you need 20% down. No, you don't need 20% down.
Yeah.
Come do this.
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying? Now, and we've watched videos of you on IG and whatnot as well. Speaking of that, because DT, you brought that up, and we've learned a lot about you through the internet. How utilizing the tool of social media helped you in your journey as a realtor?
Point, Lance. Good question.
I know that's why I do this. So just
I'm sorry. I'm my bad. I didn't mean to question you,
relax. Just have a good time.
Bro. Sometimes when you say something to me, I need to tell you that, man. You know, because you don't do it often.
Just have a good time, you know. Go ahead, Carlo.
Social media is a blessing, man. Just like everything else, it took me a minute to understand it. But I've actually gotten some of my biggest deals off social media. And I've been able to get a larger reach. And once I realized that I wasn't necessarily trying to make a sale on social media, but just really educate, that's when like the benefit really started coming from it. Because I understand that, you know, you could be in Florida or Kentucky where I may not be licensed at right now, but you could still take what I told you and go apply it into your life, which is really dope. Yeah.
And that's what really drew us. First of all, I know you before you've been in realtor, but that's what really drew us. You are just giving out knowledge, and that's what we try to do. We try to be transparent. That's why we have a YouTube channel, and we do lives and Instagram, and we just do our message. We give out information, free game. That's what we call it. We call it free game, and we see you do that. And we're like, yo, my man, that is golden. A lot of people don't do it for free.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, a lot of people don't do it for free, man. And we appreciate that.
Yeah, you had a video talking about, living that 20% down is a myth. Is a myth, is one of the biggest tools that help you get into real estate. If anything else, if you don't know anything else, know this, that it don't take 20%.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And I think what a lot of people do is they might listen to like 2 or 3 different people online, and now they feel like they're an expert. So now they go to their job. They're like, "Nah, you got to put 20% down." I heard it from so you got to relax. You know what I mean? Like,
gotta relax. Gotta relax. Gotta relax.
Gotta relax.
Gotta relax.
That's like really important to you. You're gonna look into it. You know what I'm saying? Like if you had like to get knee surgery or heart surgery, you're gonna find someone that really knows what they're doing. Take the time to learn it. But a lot of people just like getting reactions. So when I tell someone, when you go to like Zillow or Realtor.com and you look at a property and it tells you what that mortgage is going to be, that's already broken down with 20%. So what that does is you get gassed, you get happy because you're like, oh, I can afford that. But then when you look into it, you're like, damn, 20%, I can't afford that though. Yeah, and now you just leave it alone. Yeah. But if you actually talk to somebody, like, listen, there's programs, you can do 3.5%, you can do 5%. Let's look at some down payment assistance. There's a way. You just got to be patient and just know that it'll happen eventually.
That's real. That's real. What do you do? What is your because obviously in the realtor market, it's oversaturated, right? There's people that they took the class online or they went 2-week class, they figured it out. I'm a realtor now, right? Right. For you, what's your passion? What separates you from the average Joe Schmo that took the class? And why would I follow Carlos? Why would I want Carlos to list my property? What separates you from that?
Man, that's a great question, bro, and I appreciate it. I think what separates me is I put passion over profit. I feel like I'm going to be taken care of. Like that's not a problem. But I understand that with this being the biggest investment in someone's life, probably ever, right? You need someone that's going to go in there like it was theirs. So when I'm patient, I'll answer all of your questions. If I don't have the answer, I don't mind finding it for you or referring you to someone that does. And honestly, as I got into real estate, I started realizing that people that look like us are not really benefiting from it. So I'm looking online and I'll see how like a lot of people are like, yo, I'm flipping homes and I'm doing this. I'm like, damn, y'all must be the only 3% that's getting houses, because the statistics show that like people that look like you and I, bro, like it's only 3% last year that were new homeowners. But then like on the flip side of it, the education process, it's like 11 to 12% of a mortgage application denial when it comes to people that look like us as well.
Old people are paying attention to what he's saying.
Yeah, you got this is
gym
real.
After gym after
Absolutely.
gym after gym. And
if you're not listening, get off.
And Carlos, I paid attention to your Instagram. You bilingual as well, right?
Yeah, I'm Dominican. Yeah.
That's what separates you as well.
Right.
Specifically in your market, because there's a lot of Latinos in your market.
Yes.
Right. And that should not be skipped over. So please make sure you highlight that.
Yeah. So that's the thing is like growing up in New York, right? I was blessed to be able to have like Dominicans, Haitians, Colombians, Ecuadorians, all different types of Hispanics and Latinos in my life, right? As I moved further away from New York, I was in Atlanta for a little bit, and this girl I was working with, she told me she thought it was only Black, white, and Mexican. And I'm like, that's crazy that you would even think that, because, it's definitely more.
It's a lot more.
A lot more. You know what I'm saying? Right. And then moving out to the West Coast, Dominicans, like the Caribbean Hispanics, is not as much of us out here. You know what I'm saying? So it's a huge Mexican, Central American population out here. Yeah. And it's funny because sometimes they get thrown off that someone that looks like me could speak Spanish,
yeah.
Which it kind of throws me off every time. Cause I'm like, I know you have the internet, bro.
Pardon me 1 second. That alone. Let's be clear. That alone, a person that can speak the language and has the education alone, there's a market for that. You could service a multitude of people with just to speak the language and understand the lingo without having like 10, 15 years of experience.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's a gem by itself, because there's people that watch it like, you know what? I don't really have a talent. I don't have a skill. I don't have an education.
Yeah.
Are you bilingual?
For sure.
Okay, take this class, learn this skill, and then you become that.
Yeah.
And I don't want to bypass the 3.5%.
Yeah.
I want to sit on that for a second. So when you say 3.5%, should that number be a lot higher? Has it decreased? It has it increased? What when you say 3.5%, give me more of what we mean with the 3.5%.
Sure. So for an FHA loan, right, or a first-time home buyer, when you're going for your down payment, it does not have to be the 20%. 3.5 is the usual for FHA. There's some conventional loans that give you 5%. But either way, that's way off from 20%. You're saving 20%. So much money on that. And then when you also add on the programs to help you with sellers covering some of your costs, depending on how you write your offer up, or some of the government programs help you with
that
like
lingo. What's that lingo? What's that lingo?
Oh, yes. So when you're putting an offer in, right, and let's say you might be short on funds, you can do the down payment and you'll have enough like your inspection or the appraisal when it comes up, but you may need some help with the closing costs at the end of the transaction. Some sellers are motivated because, one, they're getting a lot of profit from the sale of their home, and they need to sell as well, that they'll say, you know what, we'll help you with a credit so we can get the deal done.
Like
and
a seller concession.
A seller concession, right. And it's funny because a lot of people are kind of stingy and they can't believe that someone would do that.
How normal is that right now in your market today and offers today?
So today it's not as common in that situation, but there is something. So with the interest rates being so high, right, right now, or not so high, but higher than they were previously, sellers, they need the cash to be able to buy their property as well. So they're like, if you're going to come buy my home, come correct. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would love to help you, but I can't.
I would love to, but I'm not your guy.
Right. And I probably don't have to at this point, right?
Yes, right. So they still buy demand, exactly. But there is something that's called a 2-1 buy down, which I'm not like the greatest at explaining it, but I have some great lenders that can. But
I understand that. There's multiple ways. There's 2-1, there's 3-1, there's 3-3. There's multiple years. So basically what he's saying is, and pardon me for the interruption, but you buy, you get into a mortgage, you agree to a 7%, but for your first year is 3.5%, 3%, and then your second year is 4%, and then your third year is 5%. So depending on if it's 3-1, 3-2, 3-3. So it's each year changes the dynamics. And then after 4 years, you go back up to that rate. But the people who agree to that understand that the interest rates will change in the 3 to 5 years. So the idea is that you're going to refinance overall. Am I right?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So now that we've been educated on what that looks like, you said that there are less new home buyers that look like us now.
Right.
Than there was before. Why is that? Is it the lack of education? Because I wanted you to go over the education.
Good question.
Yeah.
Now that you guys have heard the education, just in case you missed it, and maybe that's not why you're buying a property, you tell me why you feel that that number has decreased when it comes to new home buyers that look like us.
Right.
I mean, I think that's like that's a deep question because there's so many different factors for it. You can go into discipline, just like not being able to save your money. You know what I'm saying? Or
let me ask you this then, because you said it's deep. I don't want to cut you off, but I'm going to cut you off real quick. So do you not think it is education? Or do you think that that might be lower on the list?
So
what about as simple as
better let him finish.
Yeah,
no, because Lance and me never agree on nothing. So it has nothing to do with Carlos. What about opportunity? What about the fact that your last name doesn't start with a T or a S?
Yeah.
Like
So I mean,
straightforward.
right. So that's a factor as well. So I would say education for sure. I would say opportunity, but that's like a asterisk by it because you can find the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Prepare yourself. A lot of people don't want to get prepared for the opportunity. They see online that XYZ bought this property. Now all of a sudden they feel like they can just because this person did, not knowing what work it takes. And you can put that into anything. Someone that may be like a rapper or a basketball player, they see like the end result, not knowing what it took to get there. But if we take it like back, there was redlining before. Banks weren't really working with us like that. And so those factors plus many more is unfortunately why a lot of us are like, you know what? I can still live in a house or in an apartment and I'm good. And I don't have to get a house right now because I will never be able to afford it because the system is against us because they listen to that news as opposed to looking into it themselves.
Which goes back to education.
Self-educating.
Yeah, it was definitely education. Let me ask you a question. Because you said the internet. The internet, do you believe that the internet is the gift and a curse?
Yes.
And explain what?
I think it's a gift because all you got to do is pay like your Wi-Fi bill and you have access to the world. You know what I mean? You can look at
industry.
You know what I'm saying? You could
crazy
be anywhere. I could be in Fiji today on there, or I could be on a motorcycle watching somebody POV, whatever. But it's a curse because people could front, people could fake, and they can kind of like deceive people. So you can have someone that's like, yo, this is my car. I'm in front of this house. I can have like a fake paper. Yo, I got the receipt right here. We out here doing it. And now I feel like just because you showed me and the music sounds good behind you and you might look fine.
It's real. And listen, the internet is 100% authentic. If you posted it, it's real.
It's real. And that also goes back to your point where somebody will listen to 3 people on the internet and all of a sudden they're a professional.
Yes.
They're at work, like you said, relax. But that works. So you got to put down 20%. You got that. You got that. And now so instead of calling Carlos, that's in the game, that's doing what he's doing, instead of joining H.G.R.G when we're in the game doing what we're doing, you watch videos.
But Lance, you say this all the time, bro. You say this all the time. If you watch a video, somebody pulling up at the Ferrari or Lamborghini, right? And Lance gives you free game on how to get to the bag.
From my Honda Odyssey. Yeah.
From the porch, from the sidewalk. It doesn't matter where it's from.
Right.
Watch the Ferrari video 100 times.
Yes.
And they'll skim through your video for 3 seconds.
Right.
Because it's not optically pleasing.
Yeah. And people are like, I'm my fault to cut you off, bro.
No, you good.
A lot of people are like, they're not happy with where they are right now. You know what I'm saying? So like they'll use the internet to live vicariously through somebody else. So, and learning something to them is just like putting something else onto them. Like, I gotta learn something else. I just want it already. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel like avenues that you guys have with this, it makes it cool to learn. You know what I mean? Because you guys are on here, you're very fresh with like your approach to everything, and you're very captivating with the audience. So it's easy for someone to look at your videos and watch another one because you make it like it's like part of the culture now. You know what I'm saying?
That's the game plan, Carl. That's 100%.
I would also say likewise to you, though.
Oh, thank you.
Same.
Yeah, I would say likewise to you because I'm sorry, G. Go ahead. My bad. I know. I'm my bad. I tend to do that to you a lot. And I apologize, G. Go ahead. My bad.
Nah. Go ahead. I don't remember asking. You cut me off.
But watching your videos, you kind of do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? In your videos, right? You look like us. You are of us. You talking that talk. You're not showing Aston Martin, but promising a Bud Light.
Right. Right.
You know, likewise, vice versa. You're not showing the Bud Light promising Aston Martin.
Right.
You're just authentically you.
Yeah.
Right? And right now, it almost may seem, and I say this to you, like a detriment. But what I say to you is not. Don't stop. Be authentically you and don't stop. That's what we do.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that's the reason why we draw into, because authentic, when you're authentic, there's no way that because when you speak, we gotta understand it. We know it. So when you speak, we're like, all right, he's talking.
Yeah.
He's not he's not bullshitting.
Yeah.
So when you speak, we're drawn in. We're like, all right, he's talking. We like that. Okay, next video. Yeah. So where other people, they are looking for the Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Us, we pass the Ferrari because we're looking for the real information nowadays.
Yeah.
And that's what it comes down to.
And your delivery is great as well, Carlos. I mean, we're watching some of the videos, and we did it on our own time. We ain't sit down and watch it together. You know, we did it on our own time. And,
we never had this conversation.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
And we're watching videos, and you explaining how Realtor gets paid is captivating. I'm talking about captivating. You know, I work for free. You know, but hold on, we get paid, right? It ain't coming out of your pocket though.
Word.
You see what I'm saying? It ain't coming out of your pocket. See, and I know you're surprised right now that we really watching you. See,
I appreciate that.
Yeah, we really watching. So the reality is that your delivery is great as well. But let's speak more about you. You're on the West Coast, right?
Yeah.
Where on the West Coast are you?
I'm in California, so Southern California. I'm in Temecula, which is about 50 minutes away from San Diego. And then we're like 2 hours south of LA.
So you just think you're special with that nice weather.
So let me ask you this: Does LA mean anything to you?
So
as far as financially, not no disrespect.
No, I mean, there's money out there in Los Angeles for sure.
For you, not to them, to you.
No.
All right, cool. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So tell us about your market, man. So it's not you're near San Diego. You're outside San Diego.
Yeah.
LA is not your market. We just made that clear with DT.
Pretty clear because LA is different, super different.
Yes.
So I'm gonna tell you now. I know San Francisco is very expensive, but I know San Diego's got the best weather. Right?
Yeah. No, San Diego.
So what's that market look like?
Yeah, so San Diego in the past couple of years, man, the average home or the price on market it went up. I think right now it has to be close to like $950 in San Diego County, which is crazy. Riverside County. So I'm in Temecula. Riverside County is the biggest county in California. There's a few different cities in there. So the average of that one is $550 for the houses in Riverside County. But I would say the market right now is still aggressive. I would say because I'm in it. I'm like boots on the ground. I'm talking to people every day, and we're submitting offers. We're showing homes, and I would still say it's an active market out here for sure.
Do you think that county is gentrifying?
Yeah, so when I first moved out here to Temecula, it wasn't, it was me and my family and a couple others, you know what I'm saying, which was a little bit of a transition as far as who looked like us. Yeah. Now it is changing in our direction, but don't get me wrong, it's still a heavy presence of who was here before. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. So in San Diego, is there anybody renting houses or renting out there? Is that big out there or no?
So San Diego, it's like 50-50 because the military presence is heavy out here. There's a military base in San Diego, Camp Pendleton. So, when they have orders, they'll have to leave in like a month or so. So a lot of them are doing month-to-month contracts on rentals. In Temecula, a little bit over 50% of the homes out here are being rented. So it is a pretty big market.
That's a big number. 50% of the homes are being rented out.
Right.
So my thing is, I know it's expensive out there. In our market, we're big on ROI, right?
Yes.
So we're in the best market in the country, in Rochester, New York, is where we have our rentals, and the ROI is unbelievable. That those prices that where you're at are so high.
Yeah.
If I was to purchase those properties and rent them out, what does the ROI look like out there? Is it worth it, or is it just maybe, don't look for cash flow if you're gonna rent property out here? If you're gonna buy it and rent it out, look for more appreciation, or as retirement, but not so much as a cash flow. Would that be fair to say, or is it different out there?
I think that's fair to say. I'm helping a couple of families right now looking for their first investment property, and it takes a lot of digging. You're not going to find it on the MLS. You got to definitely go out there and hunt yourself. So I think that's big. I saw another Instagram account where they posted that California was like the second worst state to get a rental in. And I feel like all of that is kind of relative depending on your perspective. I know it would be easier. I have some colleagues that they have properties in like Alabama and Mississippi where they get them like dirt cheap. Yeah. So I would say if you're looking for an investment property, you can find it out here, but the main thing you're going to have is patience, because it's going to take a minute to find. But to answer your question, I would say it's more about the appreciation, not so much cash flow.
Yeah, you're an appreciation market. You're a deep pocket market as far as the buy and hold aspect of things, right? But if we can ask a question or put some sauce on what you're doing that, I don't know, maybe you could do something with, maybe you can't. In the West Coast, right? In San Diego market, your market, something kind of whatever. If you find somebody looking to invest in properties, right, it's going to be hard for you to find a property for them to invest in that fits their numbers. I'm sure you come across people that say, I got X amount of dollars, I want to invest, I want this type of return. And then when you look at them, like, yeah, like you for real, like,
yeah,
it doesn't exist here. You're like, this is not reality, right? You want me to find the needle that does not exist in the haystack.
Yeah, I could tell they just came off of Instagram. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Right.
Is that gift and the curse again?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But
so go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say that I feel like in times like that, when you have someone that's anxious and like they're ready to go ahead and get into an investment property, but it can't happen for them right now, that's where they're able to kind of get some more education on it. And they're able to wait a little bit, because the majority of times, if you're looking to invest in a property, you have that cash you can have for a property, so you don't really need it for anything else. So you can kind of just wait for the opportunity. So yeah, I think it's great either way. Like if it's available, awesome. But if not, there's going to be opportunity that comes up in the future.
What does that look like typically? Like if you had an investor, in it doesn't have to be a specific situation. It could be just a random analogy. Somebody approaches you with an investment strategy and you're like, it doesn't exist right now. Sit tight, wait. How do they approach you? What are the numbers? Like, what are the returns? What do they look for?
Sure. So the majority of investors that I deal with, they don't really come to me with actual numbers. Like how they hit me up is like, hey, do you have any flips that are available? Do you have any fixer-uppers? Mm-hmm. That's like their language they're using. They're not so much like, hey, I got XYZ, I need this back. They're more so like, hey, what do you have available? And that's how that conversation starts.
So they're looking at you like a wholesaler type of person.
Yeah, because the pandemic, I believe, and forgive me, before the pandemic, a couple years before that, when I got licensed, and even earlier than that, I wasn't in the real estate industry like that, so I can't speak for that part.
Yeah, no, that's good.
I believe from like when the pandemic 2020, it kind of like mixed up people's brains on how to actually move in real estate, because a lot of people were buying properties for whatever it was listed for. They were holding it for a little bit of time and then just selling it. And they were just getting the cash like that. So there's a lot of the people that I come across, they're not so much ready to put in the work as a true investor would. They're just ready for that quick flip.
Lance, explain that. Like, that's an appraisal market. That's what flippers, investors do in a market that appraises. Explain that, please.
Yeah, I mean, so what you want to do is, if your point is to make money, right? You're gonna find a flip. You want to put in as minimal as possible. You just want to make it nice. Obviously, we explained this before, in detail to people that are just learning this. You don't want to put marble countertops in a place where there's no other marble countertops in that area, in that neighborhood. It's not going to be a good flip for you, right? So most seasoned flippers and investors know this. So they're looking for that profit margin. Right. So they're trying to find a flip for you, find a profit margin, a place that's going to hold on to it. If it's going to appreciate, flip it, sell it, whatever that looks like. If you're not in a market where appreciation is there, right, and you're in a market where there's minimal profit margin, right, that's not for you. So I don't know. You said people coming to you with no numbers, no nothing. It's kind of, I don't know if it confuses you, right? And go, hold on, wait, you just want any flip? You just want something you can flip? You don't want any comps. You don't want what's sold in the last 6 months and the last month and a half. There's kind of a process to it. And, a market that's like, I would say, like ours, which is more cash flow than appreciation.
Yeah,
it's not what you want to look for. Maybe in your market there, and you're educating us on the West Coast right now. Like this, like you said, there's a lot of appreciation out there. It's more of an appreciation market. It might be right up the alley, but go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. With the market that you're in now, Storm Hillary just hit you guys. What did that do? What did that do for your market? What did that do? Did it help? Did it mess up? Did it drop your market? What did it do?
What's crazy about that is, like, in my particular area, it just rained a lot. It wasn't really like a big storm. There were some areas in like LA and like further down in San Diego, that got hit. But for us, it really didn't change anything. I checked in on all my clients, made sure that there was any flooding going on. They needed a referral for anything, if the roof was crazy. But fortunately, everybody was good.
Even pricing? It didn't change pricing, nothing?
No, really out here, what everybody's focused on right now is the interest rates. That's like everybody. I see somebody outside, I see my hat on, like, yo, the interest rate, what's going to happen?
Everybody.
Yeah. I'm like, I'll tell you when the interest rates to go down right after I tell you the
what's your opinion on that? What is your opinion on
I love it. Don't, like, DT, don't don't go over that right there.
Sorry, what he said? I'm sorry.
Say that one more time, Carlos.
Nah, I said, they asked me about the interest rates, when it's going to go down. I'm like, listen, I'll tell you when it's going to go down right after I give you the lottery numbers for Friday. You know what I mean? I just don't know.
Like, I tell you one thing, and I'm not sure if it was just Jerry or DT that said this, but listen, the reality is you can't be scared to buy because of interest rates, right? Because if you don't think they're going down anytime soon, you're going to stay dormant forever.
Yeah.
And if they do go down, you refinance into a better rate. I mean, guys, listen, you're not stuck.
To be honest, I'm gonna be straightforward. You already know it's an excuse. When it was at 2%, why you ain't buy it? When it was at 3%, why you ain't buy it? You wait to the 6%. Oh my man, I don't know what to do, bro. Two years ago it wasn't that. So why you ain't buy it 2 years ago? So for me, you already know it's an excuse. I don't play the excuse over there.
The only person that I could see and justify the excuses, the person who makes, 25, 35, 40,000, trying to afford a $100,000 house. Their income doesn't allow them because their down payment can't happen. Like them. Okay, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. Okay, don't sell right now because you can't afford to buy something new. 1,000%, I'm with you. I get it.
Yeah.
Aside from that, what are we doing, bro?
What are we doing?
You're literally walking over dollars to pick up.
Now,
how do you feel about those people, Carlos? Sorry.
So I feel like, it all depends on who you're marketing to and who you're talking to. unfortunately, like inflation, it affects the lower class the most. You know what I'm saying? So, and the lower class has the biggest dreams. You know what I'm saying? So when they have these big dreams, but when they can't actually put two and two together because of the situation of how things are going up, it can be frustrating. And I understand that. So what I'll tell them is this: it's affordability. If you can afford it, then go for it. If interest rates go up, you're a genius because you bought low. If they go down, you're a genius, you can refinance. So it's a win-win situation.
Absolutely.
But if you can't afford it right now, that's cool. It's not for everybody, but don't just give up. There's always something you could do to get to that place. But if you feel like, yo, I can't buy a home today, I'm just gonna go buy a bunch of sneakers, or I'm just gonna go out to eat every day of the week. And then when the opportunity comes around, you're like, yo, if I didn't buy all of this, I would be there. That's the issue right there. So you can always prepare yourself for the opportunity, but you can't play yourself and feel like you'll still be able to get it.
Right. Or if you're just a person that's waiting for interest rates and you got it all.
Yeah.
You're just sitting on your hands.
Right. Yeah. Don't time the market. Don't time the market. It's like, it's just the best. Like I had a conversation with a client recently where I told them, like, if you want to buy in this market, then it's going to have to be some type of sacrifice on your wish list. You can't have it all because you can't afford that. So now, are we going to look in a different location? Is the price point going to change? Or maybe a smaller square footage? Whatever it is. But if you really want to get this journey going for yourself, just make it work and don't feel like this is the only home you'll ever buy. I believe like in a lifetime, the average person, once they buy their first property, it's like 5 different properties they buy in their lifetime. So it's like, don't get so caught up if you can't do it right now. No, you will be able to. But if you can do it, then just do it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's a win-win situation.
They don't sponsor us, man. They don't sponsor us. Just do it. They don't sponsor us.
So let me ask you this. I see this hat that's on your head, man.
Yeah. Oh, please.
Tell us more about it. I see it.
Word. Yeah. So that's my logo, Carlos CHECO Real Estate. And the 2 homes and the sun. So I feel like the sun is just a metaphor just to continue to shine. You know what I'm saying? Like, the lights, they shine the brightest in dark rooms. And sometimes the mentality of people you're with, they got these dark mentalities. So you're able to come in and be a light and talk to them. So that's why I have that sun there.
Went deep on me. All right, go ahead, kid.
There's no
Damn, I just thought it was a nice hat.
There's no color on that hat. That was a mistake. That's not a Yankee fitted. It's not just NY. There's no color on that hat. That's a mistake. That's fire.
So
I appreciate it.
I would tell you this. If you could give advice to new realtors that are up and coming, what would that be?
Add in the pros and cons of your work.
Sure. So if you're looking to become a real estate agent, I would say, number one, know that you're signing up to work for yourself, that it can be the most beneficial thing you can do for you and your family. It's one of the only industries you can get licensed and give yourself a raise every year. And eventually you could actually run your own team as a broker. So there's a lot of growth in this industry, and you can also become an investor by having your own properties.
That's fire.
It gives you that leeway,
That's fire.
So the cons to it, I'm kind of weird when it comes to cons because I feel like the glass is always half full. You know what I'm saying? So cons depends on the perception.
You don't consider cons. I'll tell them.
Well, hold on, go ahead.
We're not interviewing you, bro. So
the cons is that it can take a minute to actually get it going consistently. Yeah. It's possible you can get a sale this month, it closes next month and you're good, but then it could be slow for a couple of months. So if you can get into it with some type of savings, a backing to hold you down until you're able to get yourself going, I would definitely suggest that. Find a brokerage that's not just a huge name. Sometimes the smaller brokerage in your town, you'll have the best type of training. And a lot of like the superstars, like the top producing.
That's a gem.
Yeah. A lot of the like top producing agents, they don't really have to come from like these huge companies. you can find someone at a small brokerage who is just this person, like 3 employees or 3 other realtors, and they're able to sell 50, 60 homes in a year. So yeah, just, and be patient. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't play yourself, but also look at what is going on. Like I said earlier, 85% of new agents that signed up last year or got licensed last year are no longer doing it. They have their license, but they're not doing it anymore. And the majority of agents, I think they sell like 1 or 2 homes a year. So if you really want to get into it, like, you have to be willing to work. It's beautiful when you get to understand what it takes and that you can actually do it. Is great. And the last con that I would say is, I said it earlier as well, but there's twice as many agents available for the homes that are on the market right now. So there's a lot of competition, but it doesn't really mean nothing as long as, if you can, my only competition is myself, because I feel like there's enough for everybody. I'll drive down the street and just look at all the homes. I'm like, damn, that could be it. That's mine. That's mine. I'm going to get that one, and just working towards that. So it's definitely
hustle, man. It's the hustle.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
There you go. Listen, Carlos, we definitely appreciate you guys. Did we leave anything out? You guys want to ask Carlos anything else before we wrap it up with him?
I would ask, how can they find you?
So on Instagram, it's at CHECO Team, CHECOTEAM. And that's like the main connect. You can DM me there, like my post, you know what I'm saying? Share my post. Reach out to me, because I want to connect with those as well on the same type of wavelength and same energy and same mind frame, because I feel like there's power in numbers. And just with us connecting, you know what I'm saying? You're on the East Coast, I'm on the West Coast. There's so much power in that. You know what I mean? So anybody going on that side, you're the first one that comes to mind. Hopefully the West Coast, I'm the top of mind for y'all as well. But I know there's a lot in between California and New York that we can really fill up this network and really get something great going.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Listen, we appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming here and blessing our audience with your presence. There's a lot of good feedback that you gave. You answered every question, to the best of your ability. And you were transparent with the people. And that's what we stand on, is being transparent. So once again, thank you very much, Carlos. We appreciate you. We appreciate all you guys, man. And once again, from our mouths to your ears, we'll bring you another one.
Subscribe. H.G.R.G _club.
Follow Carlos. Follow H.G.R.G. Like, subscribe, comment. Talk to us. We talk back.
Absolutely.
Hey.
See you on the next one.
Word. All right. Peace.
What they saying? I'm so divine, imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing maritime. They say I'm destined to read the palm line. Yeah, I'm so divine, imperfection, perfection, my presence shines. My mental is parasailing